Hello, beautiful people. Hello, hello. Today is such an amazing, incredible day. I'm so excited to be here with you guys on another episode of Superstar Interviews, where we get to interview the people that are impacting the world, making it a better place, and most importantly, helping people all over the world see their greatest potential while staying authentic and true to themselves. So it's a very important role in the leadership space. And I'm so grateful to actually be speaking to Tisha Marie Pelletier today. Okay, because it's such an honor. Okay, Tisha is a speaker, a mentor, an author, and this is something really powerful. She is a connector, y'all. She is a connector. She knows how to actually move you from one space to another. She can see things that you may not be able to see yet. And most importantly, she knows how to get you there. So if you're looking for someone to get you there, Tisha's your girl. She is so good. So I am so excited to dig deeper because I have some very important questions to ask you today, Tisha. And thank you for gracing us with your amazing presence.
Oh, thank
How are you
for
today?
having me. I am wonderful, or as my kids like to call it, I am phenomenal.
Yes.
They use that word all the time. Now that they've learned it, spelled it, like first grade, I'm like, phenomenal is everything.
Yes. That's a really good word to stick, you know? That's awesome. So my first question to you is, how did this all happen? You know, you probably get asked this all the time, but like, were you always this good at communications? Were you always this good at like connecting with people? Were you always this good at like being a coach? Like, how
No.
did this Oh, really? What?
No. That is the honest truth. No. So I always like to say, because you mentioned that I am a speaker, and one of the first things that I share with people is that my very first speech that I gave, I bombed. I completely bombed. And I was young. I was probably in about 7th or 8th grade. And you know how we're always given those tasks of, memorize something and get up here and give the speech. I had practiced so much. And then I get up there and I'm like, all the words out of my mouth, can't even hear, I don't even remember anything. And I remember just being embarrassed and trying to jog my memory while I was up there, walking off the stage, apologizing to my teacher, and looking at this scenario going, all right, I've got two choices. I know there's going to be plenty more of these situations that are going to come up.
Yeah.
And I could either stop and just stay where I'm at and stay stuck, or I could do something to challenge myself and get over this fear. And I remember like the next year, I enrolled in the drama club because I said,
Wow.
if there is a place that is going to teach me how to be a better communicator, how to memorize, how to have eye contact, how to give those eloquent speeches, then this is the place I need to be. And I did. And I noticed that I started progressing so much more that by the time I got into high school, I remember, Isabel, the vice principal knocking on the door at my class, and they're like, we need to see Tisha. She needs to come with us. And I was like, oh crap. I was like, what did I do? And she came in and she's like, we love your style and your voice. We would actually like for you to do all of the morning announcements every day. Oh my God. I was like, I'm a 10th grader. They're like, that's okay. And I remember I was paired up with a senior, and I'm like, I think at that moment, I understood that I have a gift, and I couldn't bury it. I couldn't just bury it in the sand. I couldn't be fearful of it. I just had to go all in and really move. And that catapulted me into wanting to become a broadcast journalist. I actually went to school for that. I went to Arizona State University's Walter Cronkite School. And then I got to my senior year. I was like, nope, don't want to do this job. And created my own pivot and started working in marketing ad agencies. And a couple years later was like, nope, these people are horrible bosses. I think I'll start my own company. And so you see, there was a progression of learning and taking every skill that I have and just, adding to it. And so I think that that's where, you asked me about, did I always know that I could do this or that I was this good coach? I was like, no, I felt like it's been a learned skill every single time, every single experience I've learned through my own actions and through my own stories, to then better help other people. And I think that's what makes a really great mentor or coach, is someone who's gone through the trials and tribulations and can say, did that, got the t-shirt, I can help you do it too.
Right, right. I mean, who instilled that courage in you?
I would have
To
to say my
continue to do
mom.
it?
I really do
Yeah,
feel like
right?
it's my mom. Like it's always my mom. And she is just such a big supporter of mine. And she's always cheering me on from the sideline. She's never told me you should give up and go get a job. Like she's never said that. She's understood where I am in life most times, where sometimes it's just hard. But she's never once told me to give up on anything that I've tried to go for ever. And so that to me is that courage and that fire and that, okay, all right, I'm not going to let you down. We're just going to keep going with it.
Yeah. That's really awesome because both of our moms, like Vanessa's mom is like the extroverted version of all of us combined. Okay. And she's always pushing us to go, 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 do it. Like, you see that mountain, jump off of it, you'll fly. Don't worry. Like, do
Yeah.
it.
Just go
My
jump.
mom,
You're good.
yeah, and then my mom was like, come here, we'll fix a parachute. Like, don't worry, we got it. I feel like you're such a unique blend of both aspects because I feel like you instill the courage in others because you've developed it so well in yourself, but you've also allowed others to feel safe in making their own decisions,
Mhm.
which is really powerful. What has been one of the ways that in your coaching career you've helped transform someone from going from like, I don't know if I can do this, to being like, Tisha, look what just happened. Because I
Yeah.
know you have a lot of success stories.
It is so powerful. I call these like my proud mama moments. And
Right.
because I'm also a mom, I've got two kiddos. Of course, I'm always rooting for them. But just like when I'm working with a client, I'm in it with them. I'm like diving in the trenches. Like we do this together. I never want them to feel like I've abandoned them or told them, hey, you're on your own. You'll figure this out. Because I understand, because I was that person. I was like, I just need help. I need someone to help me. Right. And so I feel like that's been just something that I get to witness every single time I'm working with a client, is taking them from this, I don't believe in myself, to getting the clarity and gaining the confidence and starting to move into action. And then when they're like, Tisha, like they send me a testimonial or they tell me they just booked a big client or whatever, I'm just like, all right, proud mama moment. Here it comes. Here it comes. Come on in. Come on in. Like, I love that every single client I've ever worked with, and it doesn't matter if I worked with them and they were a student at Arizona State University starting a business or they're into their second or third career, every single one of them, I really truly consider one of my really great friends. And
Mm,
that I think is bigger than just a coaching or mentorship relationship. That's like a lifelong relationship. Those are people that call me years and years later and tell me how great they're doing. It's like that teacher that you always go back to and say, guess what? Look where I am now. Like, could you ever imagine this? It's just such an amazing feeling when you watch someone grow and they take these amazing leaps and bounds, and you had something to do with it along the journey. You were part of that impact story. It's
yeah.
just like the best feeling. One of my clients right now is about, he and I worked together back in 2004. Like this is a long time ago. He and his family owns some restaurants here, some Mexican restaurants. And then I actually had to write the final press release during the recession because they closed their doors. And it was the saddest thing, but it was also a celebratory moment because they had such deep roots in the community.
Right.
And so just last year, I get this random message from him saying, hey, I'm onto a new venture. I've kept your business card through 4 different house moves, and I want to work with you because I trust you. And I know that you'll be my guiding light. And I just was like so speechless because this is years in the making, right? This is someone that I must have had a profound impact that then reached back out to me to restart the connection and the relationship. And now we're working together again in his new venture. So that is the power of that connectedness and relationship building.
That's awesome. I have two questions.
Sure.
I think I'm gonna ask the second one first, and then we'll get into the first
Okay.
one. But the question is, what are three questions that a new person that is looking to hire a coach should ask when, you know, they're looking to hire a coach? Like if they found someone online, maybe they looked through their Instagram, maybe they looked through their website, it looks awesome, they watch some videos and they're like, oh, they have cool vibes. Yeah. Okay, cool. Now they get on the call. What are the three questions that they should ask to see if that person is their coach?
Sure. I was there because I've hired many coaches. I mean, I've hired you ladies too. And for me, it's, have you walked the talk? Are you someone that has gone through the same sorts of experiences that I'm going through right now and has come out on the other side? Because the hardest thing is for me to trust and invest that money if I understand that you haven't gone through some of those same trials and tribulations. If you're still flying the plane, like that's hard. So I would always ask, be honest with me. Have you also gone through these things? The other thing that I would ask of that coach is, I believe in that if you're going to hire someone, they're there to make you better. They're not there to tell you you're doing great and pat you on the back when there's room for improvement. So are you the type of coach who is not going to sugarcoat and lie to my face just to save my feelings? Because I've had coaches like that where I didn't hire them, but that was a big red flag for me because I was going to them very broken and saying, I need to fix this. And they're like, but you're doing so great. I'm like, no, I'm not doing great. It's why I'm here. Like there's pain coming from me. And I need you to understand that I need help with this to fix this and move on.
Yeah.
Right? We need to uncover a lot of the problem that I'm having and come up with a solution. So that would be the second thing is, are they willing to tell you straight? Coach, are you willing to tell me straight? Like, are you really willing to not sugarcoat and just give it to me, right? No lies, just no beating around the bush, just give it to me straight, right? So that's the second thing. And the third one, I really would say that, I understand that as you're working with a coach, that maybe you're just in a 3 or 6 month program. But I always like to say, are we in this together? Are we in it together? Are you going to be there even after the program ends? Even if I'm not paying you, can I still just give you that, hey, look what happened to me? Like, can I give you those success stories? Because I've had coaches where I've never heard from them ever again. I was like, wow, I invested all this money, but they don't check in, they don't nurture the relationship further. And it leads me to think, wow, they got what they got and then they moved on to something else. And I understand that all coaches are busy, but at the same time, you built a relationship with that person. You had an impact on that person.
Yeah.
So are we in it for the long haul? Or is this just short term for you because you reached your quota? So that's what I look for in a coach or a mentor. I feel like that's why I became a mentor, because all of those things, I have those qualities. I have those things where I'm like, yep, I'm going to be with you till the very end. Yep, you and I are going to have this really great relationship. You're going to call me when you have your kids and you get new pets, like all that fun. You move to another state. And yeah, you can trust me that I will tell you straight when I feel like you're not betting on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most undervalued qualities of people, being able to be straight with someone. What advice would you have for someone that is kind of dodging the bullet of actually going and getting help when they know all they need to do is just go with someone and take that chance on themselves to better improve their life and their business?
Yeah. So I have a coach that asked me this question, and I'm sure you ladies have asked this too, but what's going to change if you don't? Or are you at a point where you're just tolerating where you're at? And are you ready to see that next level of growth? I think so many of us are just like, oh, I'm good. It's good. It's not great, but it's good. And I think good's okay. And that's where I'm like, if you're there, then you really need to step up to that step outside of that comfort zone and move. And I really feel that the only way you do that is with the right support and the right community.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What are 3 ways that you've stayed focused in your life and your business? Because you're like super busy. Okay. So like, so like this time that we have together, I don't take for granted, but like how have you been able to stay so focused? Because there's so much going on within your community, within your family, within your business, like within your relationships. Like, how do you do it? You know?
You know what, Isabel? I was never good at this in my 30s. I was like, you would have asked me that question. I'm like, balance? What balance? I don't have that balance. Like, my life's not in good shape right now. Like every one of my relationships was suffering, including the one I had with myself. So I had just a big reality check. I had a wake up call, and I've learned so much from other people, just taking their advice. And I know from the outside, you're like, dang, that girl's so busy. She's like, you know, but at the same time, I love everything that I do. I love it. Like yesterday, I was sharing with you, I hosted a happy hour for 2 hours. There were about 90 people that came. And I was telling my kids, I'm like, kids, I got paid to host a happy hour. And they're like, how do you do that? And I was like, because I created it, because I do the things that I love and I know I am good at. And the other thing is, one of the biggest shifts that I made just this last couple of years is I delegated a lot of stuff off my plate, which so many entrepreneurs are like, I got to keep it. I was like, why? If you don't like it and you know that you could be doing other things with that time, get rid of it and give it to someone who actually does love it. Like that's an investment in yourself that will always come back to you. And so that was another thing. But I really do start my day. And I think this is the reason why everybody's like, oh, you've got such great balance. It's because I start my day with my priorities. I don't try to put my priorities around my work. I'm like, nope, health is super important. So I'm always doing something in the morning, whether it's a walk or gym or bar class or whatever that may be. And then I'm always big into faith. So I'm always like, Wednesdays are out. I do Bible study. I'm hanging with my girls at church. Like I'm reading my Bible daily. Like that's my thing. That keeps me grounded. Do a lot of meditation. So I do a lot of self-care. And then I have a hard stop. Like 3:30 rolls around, Isabel, and I'm like, kids are home. Got to go make dinner. Got to have a great meal with them. Got to check in with them. So I'm very big into family, health, faith, all of those things being a big part of my day, and then not overloading myself. So many of us want to add a to-do list and there's 50, 70, 100 items on those things. I was like, I focus on the 3. What are 3 things that I absolutely need to get off my plate right now? Right now, because it'll prevent me from moving forward. And so I really do leave my desk with everything shut down, with nothing in my head, because I know that tomorrow's another day and I can tackle another 3.
Yeah. Okay. You said something so important, and I think people need to rewind, stop, take a moment, and take this in. You said prioritize your 3. Have you read that book, Eat the Frog, Brian Tracy?
I haven't read it yet, but it's probably on my list.
Okay. You literally just summed up that book.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been listening to it every single day in the morning to prep me, waking up at like 4 a.m., doing what I do, putting myself first, and then going out there and getting it. Right.
Right.
So if you don't prioritize those things, how will that be long term? Like, I guess where I'm going with this is, you as a coach, you as a mom, okay, you've developed this superpower to actually see things from a high level point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just give like just an advice to people that if you don't do this, this could happen in your relationships, in your faith, in your business, in whatever goal that you want to attain? Like, this is very, very important.
It's extremely important. And I would say that if you do not do this, here's my words of wisdom for you. And just as you said, Isabel, everything in your life will suffer. You will not be part of this high performing. You want to get to that high achieving level where everything on your every pillar that you have is working together, your health, your family, your faith, your relationships, your business, this all standing on its pillars. And if it's not on solid ground, it's going to crumble. It's going to crumble. Your relationships are going to suffer. Your health's going to decline. You're going to notice you're getting sicker more often because you're not getting the right strength or the right rest or the right nutrients. You're not pouring back into yourself. So it is very, very important that you make sure that it's like level on all of those pillars that you have that are important to you.
How important has self-talk been to you?
Oh, that's been huge. It's been huge. And I think a lot of women, especially, I mean, I can tell you stories about imposter syndrome. I can tell you stories about going to events where I'm like, I don't belong here. These women are superstars. Who am I? Like, I've had that. And so that self-talk, that mindset of being in the right frame of mind, of always thinking positively. Like my word for this year is abundance. And I love that word. I love that word. And I was at a home store, Kirkland's, and there was this great big sign. And I was actually looking for a sign to hang in my bedroom. And it said, "Together we have it all." And I love that because it's like, hubby, you and I together, we have it all. And so I immediately bought it. I hung it up over my bed. And I look at that every single morning, night, every time I walk into the room as just a great reminder of I have everything I need to do what I need. I have all the tools that I need. And, just starting the day off with like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, I'm a rock star. I know it. Yeah, I'm super confident. Like just having those words of affirmation that push you out there instead of, I can't do it. I won't do it. There's other people more qualified than I do. Imagine what that's doing. It's like shrinking you down so much. Your self-esteem is depleted. It's hard to rise back from that.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, guys, if you haven't been able to reach out to someone because they might feel, a little intimidating, or you don't know if they've gotten the results that you know that you need, Tisha is authentic inside and out. Like, reach out to her. She's got you covered. She has your back, side, front, and all around. And I'm a testament to that too, because even in our community, like you've always been that pillar, like that strong person in the group that allows others to speak up, because you open up that portal of, hey, I want to say something, and you start it. And I feel like your intuition is wild, like wildly precise. So it's like, how has that benefited in moments where you feel out of place, your intuition? How has that kicked in and allowed you to take charge when you
Well, first of
sometimes don't
all,
feel?
I think we as women, we have some pretty dang good intuition. Like it's in our
Yeah,
heart, it's in our gut. We're like, I feel it in my bones. Like this is
yeah,
right now. So I never think that timing is off. I know that we live in this instant gratification society. We're like, I didn't get it, and da, da, da. And here's what I'll say. Like I've had so many great mentors tell me this, that you've got to detach yourself from self. You can't be so into the expectations. And you can only control what you can control, right? You can't control other people. If they tell you today and it happens to be a year from now, oh well, so be it. Move on. So I would say intuition is huge. And if it doesn't feel right to you, like I've had so many people, Isabel, that they want to give me the world. They get on a call with me. They're like, you're so amazing. We're going to do this and this, and you're going to blow up and all that. And I was like, okay. And I've learned that I trusted some of these folks. And when it came time to actually pull the trigger, they bailed.
yeah,
And so what I've learned is that nobody else will do this for me. Like I have to do this for me, for me. Like you're not going to do this for me because there are a whole lot of people out there with a whole lot of empty promises that like to talk. And
that's
so,
important, y'all. That's
yeah,
very, very deep right there.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that has been let down?
I would say the same thing that my mentors have told me. They're like, you know what, Tisha, you've got this. Like, you have all the potential in the world. You just need to see it for yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And trust me, girl, I've had mentors tell me that because I was playing too small, because I wasn't letting my full potential shine. Other people see it in you, but you've got to see it in you first. And then you've got to believe in it because once you do, that confidence is on fire. Like people are just gonna be like, oh, I want more of that. Please, want more of that.
Yes.
But you've got to own it. And I've had to learn that. I've had to get out of my shell. I've had to stop playing small after so many defeats and go, I've got this. I can do this.
Yes. And I mean, talking about playing big here, you've traveled quite off, like a lot this year. That's pretty awesome. That's one of our things in life. What are you most excited for 2022?
Oh my goodness. All right. So this is just talking about future right now.
Yeah.
My family and I are going to Costa Rica in the summer. Yes. I went back when I was in my for my 40th birthday. My best friend took me with her husband and my husband, and we fell in love with the whole place. We're only there for 4 days. How do you fall in love with a place in 4 days? But we did. And I was like, this place is just magical. And
Yeah.
so we had the opportunity this year to take my kids, and I'm secretly trying to twist my daughter's arm because I'm like, it's going to be so fun to go to high school here. So we're kind of on this time frame, Isabel, where my husband is retiring in less than 5 years. Like it's going to come so fast. My son's going to high school. My daughter's just like in 5th grade. And by the time he retires, my son will have already graduated from high school and my daughter will be going into high school. And I'm like, we're going to be itching to get out of here. So I got my real estate license. I remember telling you that before. I'm like, let's sell this popsicle stand. Let's go. And I think that all four of us, we're just a very adventurous family. Like,
Yeah.
I even looking at my board right now, like I meet so many people. Like I love that you and Vanessa travel, that you love adventure, that you've seen so many great sites. I can't tell you how many people I've met and they don't remember even their last vacation. And I find that to be so, so sad because I'm like, we're on borrowed time right now. I don't know if you know that. We're on borrowed time. Tomorrow is not promised. Like you gotta seize the moment and take control of the day and do what you want and just go. And so just like this year, I think I planned like 6 trips
Yes.
of just, we went to Hawaii, we're going to California, we're going to Costa Rica. I'm planning a trip to Michigan to go see all my LinkedIn buddies. Like I'm so excited because again, I'm living for me. I'm not living for you. I'm living for me. And that's what I would say to people. I'm like, start living for you. Stop living for other people and doing more work for more people. Like, geez, get out of it. Like, start traveling and seeing and exploring and having fun.
Y'all. So strong. That is so strong. Like whenever someone's like, hey, what's your favorite book? I'm like, it's my passport.
I love it. I'm going to use that. It's my passport.
Yes. And it's so important. Like, it's so important. My question was, how does it feel to be location independent, being able to build a business, build from anywhere in the world? Okay. How does it feel, one? And then two, what advice do you have for someone that's on the fence of actually leaving their 9 to 5 or corporate job?
Right. Okay. So first question, it feels pretty dang amazing. I'll tell you that. And this has been very recent for me, Isabel. This wasn't like I was an entrepreneur and I've always been this like laptop lifestyle kind of girl. I definitely credit COVID. I really, really do, because, I really feel that it was a blessing for me in so many ways, not just because I got to spend time with my kiddos because we were all stuck in this house, but because I had to shift my focus, because the things that I had done, even before I met you ladies, was so tied to things that could disappear. Live events, for one, Professional speaking, another one. Event consulting, like talk about 3 things that disappeared overnight that I was like so excited to jump into in 2020, and it was gone out the window.
Yes.
It was gone, and I really had to pivot, take a step back, figure it out again. And I realized that I had all the skills, I just needed to get creative. And that's when I started creating the personal brand toolkit, because I realized that, well, not a whole lot of personal brand coaches out there were wanting to dive in almost like an ad agency mentality and take you through all of the different deliverables and all of the different visuals and personal brand aspects. And I'm like, gosh, I love it. I love it so much. I love bringing in my team. I love transforming you. I love making you the star. And so when that happened, I started getting clients that were solopreneurs, realtors specifically. And then it just started picking up, and I started getting clients all over the country. They've even gotten some worldwide inquiries about it. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it. And now a couple things happened. I got my real estate license, so that income stream has come back in. And then all of these things that disappeared are actually coming right back into the fold. So I didn't lose them completely. They just had to be put on the back burner so I could focus my energy on something else.
Right.
So
And
I'm super excited.
how strong do you feel now? Like, because you've been able to be creative, now going back to the stuff that you really enjoyed doing at, in 2020, now they're back. It's like, now you're like on a whole nother level. Like,
I am.
That?
I am. I get to be more choosy about some of the things that I'm taking on. So, I mean, as I mentioned, I don't look at any of the projects that I do as, oh, this is work. I look at it as, yes, I get to do this stuff. I don't have to do this stuff. I get to do this fun stuff. I get to bring on the clients that I really, truly want to work with. And that has been a blessing. And that, like I said, with COVID, it opened it up so I could mentor people internationally. So that's why I'm like, got a client in Belize. I think I'll go there next, like I have a client in Guatemala. Okay, I guess I'll go see her too. Like, I think that's so fun that I've now, expanded across just this Arizona border, or even this national border, into being able to work with people wherever and whenever.
That's awesome. That fills up my soul so much. Okay, so I have one last question.
Sure.
This is probably the most important question I'll ever ask you, Tisha. Okay. Okay, I'm glad that you're sitting down. So, Tisha, what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means that I don't ever have to wake up to an alarm clock. That I can go wherever, whenever I choose. I'm not tied down to anyone's schedule. I think when I became an entrepreneur, Isabel, the best thing that I was telling everybody is, guess what? I don't need to go to the gym at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I can go at 2:49 p.m. if I want. Like, that to me is beautiful, when you get to set your schedule and you get to set your sights on whatever you want. You're not confined to this 9-to-5 lifestyle. You're not confined to any of that. Like, it's funny because you said earlier, you're like, people look at you and you're so busy and you're doing all these things. And I said, you want to know what my schedule is like? It's a 10 to 3 schedule. And I take Fridays off. And I take most Mondays off because my husband's off. I was like, I get to do whatever the hell I want to do in that time frame, because I know I'm efficient at these times and I can get it done. And that is all that matters. You don't need to know that I'm grinding away for 20 hours. Like, I don't need to be doing that to myself or my health or my family.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the things that we've tried to really evoke, right, is, yes, there's certain activity that needs to be done to actually hit a certain goal in your business. Obviously, the delegation part, that's first. Like, learn that part first. But then there's a certain threshold of being almost like a victim mentality versus abundant mentality, right? And then it's like, do I want to work 50 hours a week? or can I be smart about it and actually push through the abundance ceiling and be like, I'm in control of my time. I'm in control of who I talk to. I'm in control of what I do, because
Right?
you always are in control.
You are.
You know?
You are. But so many people want to be in the victim mentality. I have a good friend that she chooses to work. When she was working, she's like, I'm working 80-hour work weeks. I'm like, why? And her family was suffering, and she was suffering, and her health was suffering. And I said, why? It's
Yeah,
not
wow.
that important, so why?
That's a question that you have to do with someone. Okay. I'm not your girl for that. Okay. Tisha could be your amazing guide of light and wisdom to guide you through that process.
Mhm.
Because honestly, I've gotten to a different tolerance in my life where I do not tolerate things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm like, I don't even ask the why. I just do it.
Yeah. I'm
So
the same way. There it is.
yes.
I love what you said. I don't tolerate it. I don't want that for my life.
Right.
It is honestly like what I loved honestly about working with you ladies is that you didn't put a number on me. You really didn't. You were very respectful of, and what I mean by that is I have worked with several people that I think they try to put a number in terms of what they think would be my happiness, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Is
Number and income?
yes, like if you were making this amount, you would be so happy. I'm like, how do you know I'm not insanely happy
I get
right
it.
now?
I get it.
Right? Like we're not all driven by the same thing. So when I talk to people, one of my first question is, we're designing your life. What does it look like to you? What does it look like to you? And they're like, oh, I'm like, because I'm not going to put my life on you. Like I have the happiness things that I want in my life, but you and I might be very different. And so I have to really dive deep to figure out what's that happiness look like for you personally.
This right here, right here, this question right here, it goes back to the questions that you mentioned before.
Uh-huh.
This one right here is so important because we've been put in a box many,
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
When we broke through, it was like really loud and really intense. Okay.
You shatter it.
So we cannot do that to people. But thank you so much for acknowledging that. I wasn't even aware of that. And honestly, Tisha, I love our time together because this is why you challenge me. Okay. And
I
it's
do?
people, yes. Yes. And it's people that challenged me in ways that made me feel more human,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that allowed me to become a better, not only leader, but also a better person.
Yeah.
As a spouse, as a daughter, you know, not just business, but like as a human,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I want to acknowledge you for that because you are a guiding light.
Well,
So
thank you.
thank you. That's why you're a superstar.
Superstar. We could do jazz hands.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think it's 3:30 and I know that your kids are hungry, so respect your time. But thank you so much for your time and for being so gracious with it. I know so many people will hear this and it'll make them realize that it's time.
Mhm.
You know, like you mentioned, it's borrowed time.
Yeah.
Don't take that lightly. It's very important, and get yourself a plane ticket ASAP. Just
Yeah.
say.
Get that book, that passport book.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tisha, for your time. I'm going to put all the links below, so make sure to reach out to Tisha on LinkedIn. That is the best place to contact her. She is there. Get in touch. One of her teammates will actually be in touch with you. Don't worry. She's going to guide you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.